Hello everyone. I hope all of you are doing well. Today we are going to start our first chapter of numbers, that is numbers 1. In all, we'll do 3 classes on numbers. This is the first class, and in this class we'll do classification of numbers and divisibility rules. As you know that in mathematics numbers are very important. So first of all, in this chapter, we'll learn what kind of numbers are there. Now, objective of this session, first thing, we will understand what are the different kind of numbers and what is their uses, their application. How can we apply different numbers on different questions? We will practice some related questions also. And second thing, what we are going to cover in this lecture is divisibility rules. There are some rules which help us to find out that the given number is divisible by given some numbers or not. We can use the divisibility rules in so many questions. Even we can find out remainders also by using the divisibility rules. So let's start classification of numbers. Basically, there are two type of numbers, real numbers and imaginary numbers. Real numbers, any number which we know up till now are real numbers. Imaginary number are just imagination. You can say the number which doesn't exist in real world are imaginary numbers, right? For example, if we have to find out a number whose square is negative, so there is no number whose square is negative. So that is an imaginary number. A square of imaginary number is negative number. That is called iota, right? So you can say the number which has iota in itself are imaginary number, and the numbers which are free from iota are real numbers, right? Imaginary number is not a part of your course curriculum, so we'll not focus much on that. Hope you have studied the same imaginary number in your previous classes. We'll focus only on real numbers, right? Real numbers can further be divided, can further be differentiated as rational numbers and irrational numbers, right? Rational numbers, the numbers which can be written in the form of p by q are rational numbers. Or you can say the numbers which can be expressed as a ratio of two integers are rational numbers. The properties of rational numbers, we can say either they may be integers, because all the integers can be expressed as integer divided by 1, p by q, right? Or you can say the decimals which are terminating are rational numbers, which terminates after some time are rational numbers. Also, the decimals which are non-terminating but repeating, recurring, you can say, those are repeating in a certain pattern, that are also called rational numbers. For example, I can say 1 upon 3, or you can say 5, or you can say minus of something, or you can say 1.3333 and so on. It's non terminating, but it's recurring. So these all are rational numbers, right? On the other hand, what are irrational numbers? The irrational numbers are which cannot be written, which cannot be expressed in the form of p by q, where p and q are integers. Or you can say the numbers which cannot be expressed as as the ratio of two integers are irrational numbers, right? For example, I can say the decimals non-terminating which are non-terminating and also non-repeating are irrational numbers, right? Point to be noted, the decimals which are non-terminating as well as non-repeating, or you can say non-recurring, are irrational numbers. For example, if I say 0.213234518, any pattern which is not repeating, also which is not terminating, are rational numbers. For example, others examples, you can say square root of all those numbers which are not square, like square root of 2, square root of 3, square root of 5. These all are irrational numbers. If you try to find out the value of square root of 2, it will never ever terminate and it will never ever repeat. It will be a non-terminating and non-repeating decimals, right? Pi is also a rational number because again the value of pi is not 22 by 7. We have seen in the books that use pi 22 by 7, but that is not exact value of pi. The exact value of pi is again non-terminating and non-repeating.
Now, rational numbers can further be divided in two parts. One is integers, another one is fractions. Either you can say fractions, or you can say non-integers, or you can say decimals, right? Decimals are also comes under fractions. Example, 1 upon 2 fraction, 0.3333, it's also fraction in the form of decimal. Minus of 4.234 is what? Is a fraction in the form of decimal. Minus 2 upon 3 is a fraction. So these all are fractions. And integers are, you can say, set of natural numbers plus 0 plus negative integers. Set of positive integers, negative integers, and 0, these are called integers. You can say any complete number is called integer. Complete number 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. 0 is also complete. And incomplete numbers are called fractions. 1 upon 2 is a part of number, not complete number, right? 0.2, again, it's not a complete number. So these are fractions, right? Further, integers can be divided as whole numbers and negative integers. The integers which have negative sign are negative integers, and the integers which do not have a negative sign are called whole numbers, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are, and so on, these are whole numbers. Whole numbers starts with 0, right? 0 and positive integers, these all called whole numbers. What are natural numbers? Natural numbers, you can say counting numbers, which we use for counting. Natural numbers starts with 1, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. These all are called natural numbers. Even numbers, you can say an integer which is divisible by 2 is an even number. Any integer which is divisible by 2 is called even integer or even number, right? Or in other words, you can say the number whose unit place, the number which has unit place or unit digit is 0 or 2 or 4 or 6 or 8. The numbers which ends with 0, 2, 4, 6 or 8 are even numbers. Okay. What are odd numbers? Odd numbers are the integers which are not divisible by 2. The integers, any integer which is not divisible by 2 are called odd numbers. For example, 1, 3, 5, 7, and so on. You can say the numbers which have 1, 3, 5, 7 or 9 at the unit place are odd numbers. Now we learn prime and composite numbers. Prime numbers, any number which has exactly two factors, not less than 2, not more than 2. The natural numbers which have exactly two factors are called prime numbers. Or you can say the number which is divisible by only 1 and itself are called prime numbers. For example, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 19, 37, these all are prime numbers. Because if you will try to divide these numbers, these are divisible by only 1 and itself. Means they have only two factors, right? On the other hand, composite numbers are the natural numbers which have more than two factors. Means they are divisible by at least one more number other than 1 and itself. For example, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 100, 500, these all numbers are composite numbers because they are divisible by at least one more numbers other than 1 and itself. Or you can say the numbers which have more than two factors, which have more than two factors are composite numbers. Here we can discuss some facts about prime and composite number. First is 1. 1 is neither a prime number nor a composite number. 1 is a special case. Second, there is only one even prime number, that is 2. And it is also the smallest prime number. 2 is the smallest prime number and 2 is the only even prime number. Apart from 2, all the prime numbers are odd. Our second topic is divisibility rules, or you can say divisibility test. As the name suggests, divisibility rules in maths help one to check whether a number is divisible by another number or not without actually dividing. Means you can say these are shortcuts. With the help of these rules, we can find out that the given number is divisible by 2, 3, 5, 7 or not without actually dividing by these numbers.
Now we learn about divisibility rule of 2. A number is divisible by 2 when the last digit is even. The last digit is even. For example, if the number is 294, last digit is 4, which is even, divisible by 2. So the number is what? Divisible by 2. We have to check only the last digit. 405, the last digit is 5, which is not even. So it's not divisible by 2. Right? 5 is an odd number. Divisible rule of 3. A number will be divisible by 3 when the digit sum, or you can say the sum of all digits, is divisible by 3. For example, if there is a number 3276, we'll add the numbers. We will find out the digit sum. Digit sum is 18. 18 is divisible by 3, means we can say the number is also divisible by 3. Next is divisible rule of 4. A number is divisible by 4 when the last two digits are divisible by 4. We will check only last two digits. They are divisible by 4 or not. For example, if there is a number 42725, last two digits are 25, which are not divisible by 4. So number is not divisible by 4. But if the number is 37164, last two digits are 64. 64 is divisible by 4, means the number is divisible by 4. A number will be divisible by 5 when the last digit is either a 0 or 5. Last digit is either a 0 or 5. For example, if the number is 9425, it's divisible by 5 because last digit is 5. 480 is also divisible by 5 because last digit is 0. Right? So last digit should be either 0 or 5. A number is divisible by 6 when the divisible rule of 2 and 3 both are satisfied. If it is divisible by 2 as well as it is divisible by 3. For example, if there is a number 216, is it divisible by 2? Yes, last digit is even. Is it divisible by 3? Yes, because digit sum is 9. So it's divisible by 2 and 3 both, means it is divisible by 6 as well. Next is divisible rule for 7. A number will be divisible by 7 if we multiply the last digit. If we multiply the last digit by 2 and subtract from the remaining number. Multiply last digit by 2, subtract from the remaining number. If result is either a 0 or multiple of 7, the number will be divisible by 7. For example, if it is 413, 413 last digit is 3, multiply by 2, it becomes 6. Subtract from the remaining 41, the result comes 35. 35 is divisible by 7. A multiple of 7 means number is divisible by 7. If there is one more number, we take 84. Multiply last digit by 7, last digit by 2, sorry. It becomes 8, and subtract from the remaining digit, which is 8, result is 0. So it is also divisible by 7. This is the divisible rule for 7. What is the divisible rule for 8? We will check last 3 digits. If the last 3 digits are divisible by 8, the number will be divisible by 8. We will check only last 3 digits, not the complete number. For example, if there is a number 57136, we will check last 3 digits. 136. Is it divisible by 8? Yes, it is divisible by 8. So the number must be divisible by 8. Okay. Now divisibility rule for 9. Next is divisibility rule for 9. A number will be divisible by 9 if we add the digits. If we add the digit and then again add the digits and then again add the digits till we get finally one digit. And if this one digit is 9, the number is divisible by 9. Otherwise, it will not be divisible by 9. For example, if there is a number 74916, add the digits. The addition becomes 27. Again add 2 and 7, it becomes 9. So final result is 9. The number is divisible by 9. The final sum is 9. Divisible rule of 10. A number will be divisible by 10 if the last digit is 0. If the last digit is 0, number is divisible by 10, else it is not divisible by 10. For example, 3281, is it divisible by 10? No, last digit is not 0. It's not divisible by 10. But if it is 23540, last digit is 0, so it's definitely divisible by 10. Next is divisible rule for 11. For divisibility of 11, we will sum the even digits separately and sum of the digits at odd places separately. Sum the digits at even places, sum the digits at odd places, and the difference between two additions should be either 0 or a number which is multiple of 11. For example, if I take a number 75152, so digits at odd places. What are the digits at odd places? 7, 1 and 2. Sum is what? 10. What are the digits at even places? 5 and 5. Sum is what? 10 again. Difference between these two additions is what? 10 minus 10, which is 0. So number is divisible by 11. One more example. 75152. Sorry, 21824. This is one more example. Take the digits at odd places. It is sum is what? 14. Take the digits at even places. Sum is what? 3. Difference between two additions is what? 11. A number multiple of 11. So the number is again divisible by 11. Divisibility rule of 12. For checking divisibility rule of 12, number must be divisible by 3 as well as divisible by 4. Means sum of the digits should be divisible by 3 and last two digits should be divisible by 4. If the number is 5508, last two digits are 08, divisible by 4. and sum of the digits is 18. Sum of the digits is 18, which is divisible by 3. So number is divisible by 3 as well as 4. So we can say the number is divisible by 12 also. Right? Number is divisible by 12 also. I hope it's clear. Till now, we have covered the classification of numbers. Means we know that what are the different kind of numbers, like what are prime numbers, what are composite numbers, what are even, odd, rational, irrational. These all numbers which we know till now. And second is we know some operations also. Operations also, like how the number is even, why it's prime, how many prime numbers are there in a range. These all we can find out. Also in the second part, means divisibility rule, we learn that without actually dividing a number, we can find out that the given number is divisible by given some numbers or not. Also, divisibility rules can help us to find out the remainders in some cases. With the help of divisibility rules, by using divisibility rules, we can find out the remainders in some cases. Now, there are some practice questions for you all. We have done two topics. So, first slide, this slide shows some practice questions on classification of numbers, the type of numbers, the properties of numbers. Like the first question is here, out of first 50 natural numbers, how many numbers are prime? It's a very basic questions, but it will help you to find out some basic concepts, like the prime numbers are 2, 3, 5, 7, then 11. So they are asking how many prime numbers are there in the first 50 natural numbers. The second question is here, sum of two prime numbers is 101. How many such pairs are possible? So in this question also, there is a basic need, there is a basic requirement. If you know the fact, if you know that basic fact, definitely you can crack the questions within maybe 5 seconds. Else it may take more than a minute. Third question is, why pi is an irrational number? This is a thought based question. This you need to think that why pi is an irrational number. And the last one is, while writing first 100 whole numbers, how many twos will be used? So the concept of whole numbers, concept of digits, how many times two will be used? These are required, right? So I hope you will be able to do these all. Then next slide. This slide shows the questions based on divisibility rules. We have learned the divisibility rules from 2 to 12. So first question is here, how many two digit numbers are multiple of 4? Total two digit numbers, how many of them are multiple of 4? Second is 123x 479y is divisible by 72, where x and y are two non-zero digits. Find the value of x and y. So we haven't covered the divisibility rule of 72, but we have covered the divisibility rule of 9 and 8 both. So we can use, the number is divisible by 72, so it must be divisible by 9 and also must be divisible by 8. Third is again similar kind of question. The number is divisible by 4, and the question is here, how many values of x are possible? How many values of x are possible? And the last question is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 x is divisible by 11. What is the value of x? We should know what is the divisibility rule for 11. If we know the rule, definitely we can crack all questions of this type. Here are some reference books, some references from where you can learn and you can practice questions. First is our own SSSL textbooks, which all of you must have. If you don't have, I can definitely send you. Uh, these books covers all the topics, and there are so many practice questions, you can practice from them. Apart from that, you can purchase a book which is Quantitative Aptitude by R.S. Agarwal. That's also very comprehensive books, and it covers almost all the topics of quantitative aptitude, and it's very helpful in from placement exams point of view. If you want to prepare some higher level questions, then you can go through the book How to Prepare for Quantitative Aptitude by Arun Sharma. So this book has so many questions and of great quality, of difficult level, you can say. And apart from that, you can try some online quiz, online test. Also, you can watch some YouTube lectures. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice day.